Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. You're probably using it this very second. English. But what if I told you that the English you know, the one you're hearing right now, is just one tiny piece of a much bigger, more chaotic, and honestly, way more fascinating puzzle? Today, we're going to unpack this incredible idea of world Englishes. So, let me ask you a question. When you hear the word English, what pops into your head? For a lot of us, right, it's probably the Queen's English, or maybe the kind of American English you hear in movies. We just instinctively think of it as this one, single, solid thing. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? Seriously, what if instead of just one English, there are actually hundreds? Now that's the big idea we're digging into today. This shift from seeing it as a single language to a whole world of Englishes. And this powerful concept brings us into a whole field of study that really challenges how we think about language. Welcome to the world of Englishes. And yes, I said that right. Englishes, plural. Okay, so world Englishes, that's the official term linguists use for this incredible, diverse range of English varieties that have popped up all over the globe, especially since the 19th century. And the key takeaway here, the big insight, is that it's not about correct versus incorrect English. It's just about different Englishes. Right about now, you might be thinking, whoa, that sounds complicated. And yeah, it can be. So how on earth do we make sense of all this diversity? How do we organize it all? Well, luckily for us, there's a really elegant model that helps a ton. And for that, we can thank the linguist Braj Khatru. See, back in the 1980s, he came up with this brilliantly simple model. He called it the 3 circles of English, and it's a fantastic way to map out this whole complex linguistic world. And here it is. It looks super simple, doesn't it? I mean, it's just 3 circles inside each other, but don't let that fool you. This model is amazing. It categorizes all the different ways English is used across the planet by dividing countries into an inner, an outer, and an expanding circle. It's all based on the language's history and how it's used in each place. All right, so let's take a quick tour, shall we? Let's break down each of these circles to see exactly what they represent and which countries fall into each one. Okay, first up, we've got the inner circle. This is basically the birthplace of English. It's where English is the primary native language for most people. So you're thinking of places like the UK, the USA, Australia, Canada. You get the idea. Historically, these are the countries that have kind of set the rules for what we call standard English. Now, things start to get really interesting when we move out to the next layer, the outer circle. In these places, English isn't the native language for most people, but it plays a huge role. It often has official status and a really long history, usually because of colonial influence. We're talking about countries like India, Malaysia, Singapore, places where English is a super important second language, used everywhere from government to schools to just everyday life. And this is where the language gets really, really creative. Because in the outer circle, English doesn't just get spoken. It gets absorbed, it gets adapted, it becomes what linguists call nativized. Basically, it soaks up all these unique flavors from local languages and cultures, and it morphs into these incredible, unique new versions of English. A fantastic example of this is in Singapore. If you've ever heard Singlish, the local variety, you'll hear the word la added to the end of sentences all the time. It's used for emphasis, and it's a feature borrowed from local languages like Malay. It's what gives Singlish its totally unique sound and rhythm. And you see the exact same kind of thing in India. In a lot of Indian English, you might hear kya at the end of a question. It works just like saying right in English. That's a direct borrowing from Hindi, and it's just seamlessly woven right into the fabric of how English is spoken there. And finally, we get to the expanding circle. And let me tell you, this one is massive. It's the biggest circle by far. This includes all the countries where English doesn't have any official status, but it's learned as a foreign language. We're talking about places like China, Japan, Russia, basically anywhere people are learning English as a tool to connect with the rest of the world for business, science, or travel. So if you're trying to keep it all straight, here's the key difference to remember. In the outer circle, English is a deep-rooted second language that's constantly evolving and taking on local characteristics. But in the expanding circle, it's treated more as a foreign language, a practical tool for global communication, and it's usually taught based on the standard models from the inner circle. Okay, so this whole model isn't just a history lesson. It actually tells us a ton about the future of English. So, where is all of this heading? What happens next? Just take a look at this. The number of people who speak English in the outer and expanding circles, it absolutely dwarfs the number of native speakers in the inner circle. Think about that for a second. The vast majority of people speaking English on this planet today are not native speakers. That is a staggering shift in the language's center of gravity. And of course, modern forces like globalization and the internet are kicking this whole evolution into hyperdrive. I mean, communication is instant, it's global. Those neat lines between Quechua circles, they're getting blurrier and blurrier every single day as all these different Englishes smash into each other online every second. Which, of course, leaves us with a really big question. As these circles keep blurring and that non-native majority just keeps growing, who actually owns English anymore? Who gets to decide what's correct? Well, the one thing that seems pretty clear is that the future of English isn't going to be dictated by that small inner circle. No way. It's going to be shaped by the billions of people all over the world who use it, who adapt it, and who make it their own every single day. So I'll leave you with this. What do you think that future is going to look and sound like?